Where are we? Need my mouse.
Stream
There's my
running.
mouse. Excellent connection.
And he launched his invasion, his second invasion of Ukraine, in part because Trump lost, because he thought if Trump had won, Trump would have pulled us out of NATO. It would have literally been a cakewalk for him. And so when Trump didn't win, he figured he had to go forward. He thought he had enough chits with the Germans and others to prevent a united front in support of Ukraine against his invasion. He turned out to have absolutely the wrong calculation.
Digital platforms are being misused to subvert science and spread disinformation and hate to billions of people. This clear and present global threat demands clear and coordinated global action. Our policy brief on information integrity on digital platforms puts forward a framework for a concerned international response.
Ukrainian government is one of the worst in the world. Corrupt, controlled by a few rich people. I mean, really unfortunate for the people in Ukraine.
All right, God save the Queen, man.
We will not let fear win. A world without trans people has never existed. A world without drag has never existed, and it never will. Queer people have always been here amongst us. They are our coworkers, they are our brothers, our sisters, they are our mothers, our fathers, they are our families. Drag is art, drag is culture, drag is educational, drag is creative, drag is comedy, but drag is not a crime. My name is Scarlett Bobo, and thank you so much for your time.
Come and have a chat with me, Mariana. Mariana. Come and talk to us, Mariana.
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 Well.
Well, good evening,
Good evening,
Ben.
John.
Good evening, Ben. How are we?
Is my audio on? Because if they miss that.
Of course your audio's on. It's on automatically now. Remember, I've fixed this. It all does it automatically. It better be on.
Yeah, I hope it's on.
Yeah,
But
they can hear you. Well, they
haven't
wouldn't
said
know. They
we
wouldn't
can't
know.
hear you.
You know what they're like. They wouldn't. They would tell us about half an hour in and go, "Oh, we can't hear you."
We can't hear you. We can't hear you. And then, Mariana would not have been able to hear us either. But, if anybody saw me this morning down on the old Sonia Poulton show, Rise brand YouTube with Sean Ward as well, we had a good old chat about Mariana. And there's a little short about her out on the channel now. If you haven't watched that, obviously wait till after the show, but please do go watch that. We would very much like to speak with her, wouldn't we, John?
Well, yeah, I think. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But
We've
she
got some
won't.
questions.
She won't.
No, like, are you an intelligence plant? What? I don't know. I mean,
Are you an
we
intelligent
won't know.
plant?
Are you an intelligence plant?
No, are you an intelligent plant?
Maybe. Well, thank you guys. I see you guys praising my performance there in the chat. John left me in the lurch to do some work with the gym. Just left me. I had to do it all by myself.
Yep.
I had to carry the torch for the show. But off the back of it, I watched an interview with a man named Alex Mitchell, who came on straight after me. And it was really quite inspiring. And so we invited Alex to join us on our show. Now, I can't really tell you his story here because YouTube won't let me. But suffice it to say, we're going to be recording with Alex tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. It's going to be a pre-recorded show released in two forms. There will be a YouTube safe version released here. Maybe. But there will definitely be a full uncensored version released out to the Rumble channel and possibly directly to our Twitter accounts as well. John,
It's been a
what's
long
the
time.
wine of the week?
It's been a long time since I've had a red wine. This wine is called Definition. It's
Definition.
Zinfandel. The red Zinfandel.
Okay, and
We can't really
does
read
it
it
have-
because it's too dull in here because of my
oh, that's fair.
lighting for the show. But yeah,
So
it
I
smells
am going with this cherry Coca-Cola today.
Oh,
This
I've got-
Coca-Cola.
I've got notes of leather, of dark cherry, dark days of cherry.
I've got notes of Coca-Cola and
Oh, it smells quite
Cherry.
good. I do love the smell of red wine. Sometimes I really shouldn't drink red wine because it doesn't seem to agree with me.
Mm.
Well, I
So
do
whilst
like
you gush over your red wine,
let me just have a little sip.
go on in. Yeah. Oh, just bloody swallow it, boy. This ain't a tasting.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
I do like
now
it.
you've come out of your trance, and this is proper. Oh God, so many fillings, Frankie. This is proper cherry Coke, full sugar stuff. I don't drink zero sugar stuff. Don't be silly. But so many fillings. I'm surprised I have teeth as well. To be honest, I do my own dentistry.
Let's not go down that route.
Let's not go down that route. But John, what's on the agenda for tonight?
Loads and loads of things. Obviously, we're going to speak a little bit about Harry and Meghan. And
Your Majesty.
we're going to talk about Joe Rogan's indecent proposal. Well, it appears to have been treated as an indecent proposal.
Seems to be a very decent proposal to me, to be
Yeah,
honest.
we'll touch on other people like Loza Fox and Trump and Robbie Williams, that is.
Yep.
YouGov polls, Titanic, Starmer, Keith and Angela.
Keith's been having a day today, hasn't he?
Hey, sure
We're
has.
talking
But
about
we'll
Keith's
get-
day today.
We'll get to that later. So yeah, we've got loads to talk about. And with that, I think it's time to introduce the show. So I'd like to welcome. Oh, go on.
Usually I say you're going to introduce the show.
Go on,
so
you go.
I
Go.
thought we was
Hey,
talking
go for it, mate. Go for it.
I would like to welcome you, one and all, to episode 228 of Chasing Descent Live with me, John, and him, Ben.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.
Well,
I've got a slight delay on you.
yeah. There's a bit of a delay on the YouTube.
It's about 5 seconds, which is
Yeah.
not terrible.
No,
Terrible.
it's all right.
Not terrible,
It's all
indeed.
right.
Right, it is all right. So, where do you want to begin this wonderful journey into
Well-
the news of the weekend?
There's, I did I have got stuff that I want to begin with, but I want to ask Frankie about something that he said. Frankie, male, female. I don't want to presume gender.
Right.
So Frankie said something about. I hope you'll be speaking about the possible cyber threat. Now, she appears to have watched a thing called Funky Prepper. Did a video last night and it's been all over Twitter. Well, I don't know whose Twitter it's been all over because it's not been all over mine.
I think I was actually sent it. I just haven't got round to having time to watch it.
Right. Okay.
I think, yeah, so that might be something we have to properly look at and cover on Wednesday because we're just not fully up on it right now, to be honest.
Funky Prepper sounds a bit dodgy.
So, Militant Mushroom says, move your mic closer, John. Your audio is in and out.
Is it now?
Yeah, that's probably your noise gate. Probably because you are, I guess, slightly far away.
I'm not really.
Bring it in. There you go.
I'll bring it to here. See how this goes.
Yeah.
Is this all right,
Ben
people?
says-
Is it too loud now?
That sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds very good to me, actually. Sounds the best your audio has sounded all evening.
Why,
Leave it
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Everybody's saying perfect.
Right.
good.
Grand.
Grand.
Okay. Right. So what I'd like to start with actually is what's going on? What's going on with, well, let's start with Twitter, okay? Because
Yeah.
Twitter's it's kind of our platform of choice for picking up
Social media.
social media, seeing what's happening in the world. You know, I mean, we will go off and then research things deeper, but Twitter usually gives us a good steer. But what's happening on Twitter? Because suddenly, over the weekend, all the lefties seem to have come back in droves.
Well, it just feels like we're back in, and I said this morning, this weekend, last few days on Twitter, it has felt like I'm back in 2020.
It does feel that,
With-
and we're making the same arguments. I'm making the same
how-
arguments I made in 2020, and I'm thinking, why am I doing this?
I've been sitting here thinking, surely what I'm saying is widely accepted at this point. Surely. Because we can read and interpret and look at past things and come to the conclusion that hashtag we were right. But still, I don't know if it's bot farming. I don't know, but it feels like the same energy.
Yeah.
Pylons.
Yeah. I think it's got something to do with that. Did you see that little clip in the pre-roll from the UN?
Yeah.
I think it's got something to do with that. I think they're really trying to crack down on misinformation and disinformation, like we spoke about last night. And I mean, when you get things like BBC Verify, which is appears to be making things worse, when you get people that used to be
making things up.
Yeah, when you get people that used to be conspiracy theorists trying to debunk everything now, and then getting bans from the channel that they're trying to debunk stuff. Yeah, ironic, much. But it does seem as if there seems to be a big swing towards shutting down any kind of dissemination of the language. And I saw a quote today that was Noam Chomsky or something, and I can't remember it completely off the top of my head, but it was along the lines of what they'll do is they will give you the appearance of free speech within a carefully crafted narrative. Yes. And then, so that you think you've got the illusion of free speech, but you don't really, because they're shutting it down at either end, really. You're just getting that little bit in the middle that they want you to concentrate on. And that seems to me what's happening.
When a group of people that, I guess, look at themselves as our betters, decide and hold up a framework for what is acceptable speech online, that's the biggest bloody red flag going. Because these people don't have your best interests at heart. Yeah. They don't.
I know.
They want to control you.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. You are right. I know what's wrong with my mic. It's not wrong. I know why it has to be closer. Because I put the foam and the shield on it. Because I thought I'll try and cut down some of the, the deep breaths when I run out of air. Because I find that really annoying when I'm listening to people, and then I hear it in myself and I go, that's really annoying. Imagine listening to that guy. And then I'm going, I am that guy. And people listen to me. They must be really annoyed, but they never mention it. You're actually quite nice, aren't you, people? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I do love you. You know that. You know that, don't you? You know that.
I do.
Anyway.
And
yeah,
so Milton Powell, a Houston rapper who performed under the name Big Pokey, has died after collapsing during a show in Texas.
I saw that. And the guys that he's giving it, boom, straight over. Bang. Yeah. And that was quite scary. And he's only like 31 or something. He wasn't old.
Yeah, I don't have his name.
And he actually wasn't that big. He wasn't like a Big Diddy. Or was it Big
Diddy? I mean, he was a big guy.
Yeah, but he wasn't like ginormous. I mean, he wasn't like huge.
He was born on 29th of November 1977. So, what, nearly 50?
Oh, was he as old as that? No, maybe that's a different guy. But anyway, yeah, I saw one guy killing over. Did you see the guy? There's some wild videos. There's some wild videos coming out on Twitter these days, and I'm going off at a bit of a tangent here, and I'm sorry if you think that's annoying. But did you see the guy that jumped off the pylon and just hit the ground?
No.
He jumped off the pylon as if he had a parachute, but there was no parachute, and he hit the ground and literally bounced 3 feet in the air.
So what you're trying to tell me is he was a base jumper whose parachute didn't open? Or he just jumped?
Either that or he just jumped, but either way, it's going to sting when he wakes up. I don't think he's waking it up, actually, to be fair.
You're probably not waking up from that.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, a couple of kiddies did that at Thorpe Park, didn't they? They climbed up the stealth roller coaster, which is 205 feet tall, and then jumped off it with parachutes.
Oh, did they survive? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they were fine. They base jumped it.
Yeah, okay, well, that's all right.
So people do this, don't they? They illegally. Someone base jumped off Nelson's column, and stuff like that. People do this, and then he shouted, then jumped. What did he shout? Probably the word "see ya," which is what base jumpers shout every time they jump. So they shout "see ya," and then they jump. This is actually a thing. Go watch some base jumping videos.
before we had our altercation with that country that spans 11 time zones, right? Before we had our altercation of that, you used to get pictures of people in that country doing stupid things. Kids, like climbing up things and riding bikes on steel beams and things like that, and occasionally falling off. Absolute idiots.
Well, yes. Yes.
Yeah, he wasn't wearing a shirt. I don't think he was wearing a shirt.
Well, if he wasn't wearing a suit, then he's obviously intended to do what he's done.
Someone fell 4,000 feet in the Grand Canyon yesterday. 33-year-old bloke. I've been to the Grand Canyon. It is big. It's like you're standing on the edge looking down, and you know it's quite weird because you are literally, in my day, you could stand on the edge. There was no fences around it, and you could just walk up to the edge and look over. And you'd look down and you'd see like a mule train halfway down, you know, because people would go down camping and things like that. And then you'd look further down, you'd see what looked like little ants. And they weren't ants, they were people right on the very bottom. I mean, nearly a mile deep. It's absolutely mental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And falling off that, you're not going to survive. You're not going to survive that.
No.
Same as jumping off a giant pylon. If you're bouncing 3 feet, you're probably your internals are probably hemorrhaging against your rib cage, shall we say?
Yeah. Did you see that? Did you see that stupid guy that works for the BBC, the Scottish one that fell off his bike?
No.
Broke 10 ribs. He's the one. Do you remember when Nippy was resigning? He was the one asking her about the police coming to get her.
The police coming to get you, Nicholas.
So he fell off his bike, broke 10 of his ribs, so he's recovering in hospital at the moment.
Is there a video of him falling off his bike?
No, there isn't, unfortunately. There's a picture of him with his bike, and there's a picture of him in hospital.
Somebody should Photoshop a picture of Nicola dressed up as Jimmy Cranky throwing a wrench.
Or fiddling fiddling with his brakes.
Fiddling with the brakes, yeah. You want to question me, you wee bastard?
I fell off my bike. Someone is helping police with their inquiries. It might be. It might be a dwarf, Ben.
It could. Oh no. Oh,
no, we'll do it. Right, we'll do it at the end, okay? But you've got to remember.
No, we'll do it now. We'll do it now.
It's too funny to do now. Should we do it later?
Well,
wait until after we've got rid of Twitter.
If you want to hear the story about the dwarf, hit the like button. If you want to hear that story, there is a story.
And if you're on Twitter and you want to hear the dwarf story, get into YouTube because it's not going out on Twitter.
It's not going out on Twitter.
It's too good for Twitter because Twitter don't pay us. They don't pay us at all.
Well, the people have begun hitting the like button. More likes.
More likes. And comment, people. Comment. Remember, I mean, chat's good, but remember, comment after the fact or even during the fact. Comments are good because they really boost the algorithm. And we do read them. We always read them.
We do.
I usually like them and whatever. Sometimes I even reply.
One comes along. Every now and again, one comes along and we go, oh, what an asshole. But, you know. Frankie says, already have because I don't want the boys over. Well,
there you go. Well done, Frankie.
You're learning.
Is it acceptable to ask people their gender in this day and age? No, probably not. I'm just trying to figure out if Frankie was
Frankie, what do you identify as?
You stand or sit? Right, how's the collective chasing descent dog, says Shalini. Well, my dog's all right. How's your dog, Ben? Still as mad as a hatter?
Absolutely fucking mental.
Yeah.
Just insane. She lives in my house, so what do you expect?
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, I'm gonna need at least 13 likes on this stream for you guys to get that story. There you go. Need at least 13 likes.
13 likes. Right, so
we're getting it.
We were talking about this big push in lefties and going back to where we used to be. And then there's the big push in aliens as well. What's all that about?
Boop, 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 boop.
I don't get it, because you've got people who you think of as genuinely sensible, like Redacted, right? And they seem to be embracing it. It's like, it's real. Aliens are real. They've really got. And let's face it, this guy David Grush never said they had alien spacecraft.
He was very careful with his words.
Yeah,
wasn't he?
what he said was they had spacecraft of a non-terrestrial origin, right? Non-terrestrial. That he never said alien.
Could have been made on the moon.
Well,
could have been made by China at the moon base.
Maybe there was an ancient civilization and they left the Earth on spaceships and now they're coming back, a la Battlestar Galactica.
Could well be, and I mean, at the end of the day, I think the reason that people are embracing it is the reason that people like Redacted are way bigger than us, because they embrace sensationalism for likes and clicks. At the end of the day.
Yeah, because they embraced that Mel Gibson story straight away. They put it out as if it was real, and yet it took literally it took a 2 minute check to find out it wasn't real. It wasn't happening. It's pretty poor. I'm quite disappointed.
There is a 4-part documentary coming out. That's not in dispute here. What is in dispute is that Mel Gibson is releasing it because he's not. He's nothing to do with it.
No.
Nothing to do with it. But people are still tweeting as soon as an hour ago about Mel Gibson and his documentary that I've seen. And you know what? I've just stopped responding to them. I've just stopped telling. They want to believe that Mel's putting out a documentary. They're going to be severely and sorely disappointed when Mel doesn't put out a documentary. But
I lost it yesterday. I just lost it because I typed in capitals. So that means I was shouting. And I goes, why won't
Gibson.
You people is not doing it? I sounded like Alf Garnett. And now, Mel Gibson here.
He's not doing it, people.
He's not doing it.
Not doing it. And once again, nobody's disputing that there will be a documentary that comes out from that Tim bloke or whatever his name is. But it will not be financed by, produced by, starring, narrated by, or presented by Mel Gibson in any way, shape, or form.
None whatsoever.
And do you really think? I think Mel probably wants back into Hollywood at some point.
Yeah, he probably does.
Yeah, I mean, that's how he makes his money at the end of the day.
Yeah, and you know what? See, these guys, they're a bit like you. They're quite narcissistic. They like to be in the limelight. They like to be seen.
Yeah.
So if they're not getting the attention, they kind of wither and die, don't they? You've really got to keep putting themselves front and center.
See, I think Mel Gibson's a very, very competent director. I think he should just stick to directing movies. Because let's face it, as brutal as it is, The Passion of the Christ is a very good movie. And also, as brutal as it is, Apocalypto is, I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's a good movie.
And Braveheart was shite.
Yep. But that's because you're biased.
Yes, indeed. It was just full of all the old tropes, wasn't it? And a really dodgy accent.
I was going, but a lot of people up your way have embraced it, haven't they?
Oh,
It.
Yeah, of course. But the SNP type people embrace these things because it is full of the old tropes, and that's exactly what they want. The other people that go to the football and think, yeah, Flower of Scotland, and send them home again. And I mean, for Christ's sake, we won one battle. We lost the war.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But John, they may take our lives, but they'll never take.
Well, actually, you were wrong, William, weren't you? William Wallace was completely wrong because they did take our freedom, and they took
freedom.
They took it quite convincingly, and what I don't get as the people that vote SNP, that think Nippy's doing a great job, that stand by her, they can't see that they have none of the values that William Wallace stood for. We have no freedom. And it's nothing to do with Westminster.
Nicola, are you going to deliver freedom or for the
Independence?
SNP and for the
Independence
Scottish
isn't
people?
freedom, though.
No. That's her answer.
Yeah, but independence isn't freedom.
Well, no, independence. Independence in the eyes of the Scottish National Party actually means in the EU.
Yeah, which is even worse than being, part of a union with. Well, and that itself is a misnomer, because being part of a union with England, much as it pains me, is actually to Scotland's benefit on every turn. Scotland doesn't get a bad deal out of it. In fact, we got a very good deal. It was negotiated well, obviously because we weren't ruled by the SNP when the union occurred.
Frankie says we installed freedom to Scotland. I mean, we kind of did install some freedom up there, didn't we?
Well,
and then, like you say,
right, Scotland's a weird.
You got
Scotland's
a
a
good
weird
deal out of it in the end.
Scotland's a weird country, right? Scotland's a bit like a dog handler I knew, a bit like his dog. Okay,
right.
He had this Alsatian, and it was a vicious beast. Okay, and he would bring it into the break room, and we were playing pool or something, and you turn your back, and the dog would be on the pool table eating your sandwiches, and you'd go to put your hand out, and he would go, "Well, I wouldn't." And the dog would just sort of look at you at the side of his eyes and go, and you'd go, "Yeah, okay, you have those sandwiches, mate. It's all right. You're a hard-working police dog. You have them." So this dog was a vicious, horrible, angry cur, right? I mean, it was a pedigreed Alsatian, but it was a horrible beast. I mean, it looked almost like a bear. It was that big. And it was that, the dark, really hairy ones. So they look even bigger than they are. So anyway, and I'll try and bring this back to how this dog is like Scotland, because before Scotland became unified with England, it was ruled by clans.
Yes, it was.
And clans had their own wee patch of land. Basically, they were just tribes. And all they did was fight with each other. So all they did was fight with each other all the time. And the only person that kind of unified them briefly was William Wallace, Bonnie Prince Charlie, who was basically a Frenchman, and fucked off back to France as soon as he got the chance. And then you had what's his name? William what's it? What's his name? The Bruce. Aye, can't remember. But anyway, Robert the Bruce, right? And then, he was a bit of a shell. He was taking the English shilling. So anyway, this dog was in the van one night, and the van was rumbling about. Right, the van was bouncing and bouncing. It looked like there was, a major fight going on in the van. And I turns to Stevie, as he is, and I go, "Stevie, what's going on in the van? Have you got two dogs in there?" And he's going, No. Sometimes it just fights with itself. He goes, "I've just got to leave it until it finishes, because I'm not getting in there." And that, ladies and gentlemen, is still what Scotland's like today, because we still have it, because we have all these people who want to be who are nationalists and call themselves Nats or Yes people or whatever, and then we have the people who are derogatory referred to as Unions because we like the union, and never the two shall meet. There is no common ground. It's ridiculous.
Oh, dearie me. Right. I don't even know how we got where we are.
It's part of is it not part of the attraction, the charm, the je ne sais quoi of this show?
Yeah.
That we never
Yeah, it is.
actually know where we're going?
We don't.
I
We
mean, do you
don't,
want
but
to
what
be
we do-
polished? Should we be polished people? Should we be polished? Should we sit here in ties and jackets and give you, and the news of the day is such and such and such and such, and here's the weather?
Fuck.
Should we do that? Would we get more viewers if we did that? I don't know. Would we? Would we?
I don't know, and
Would we
neither
get
do
more
I
viewers?
care. I mean, we could do with a few more viewers. Hit the share button, and the like button.
Share button,
Come on,
like button.
Okay.
You know you want to.
Share button. Do it.
Right.
Do it.
Right. Where are
And
we?
whilst you're doing that, bye Twitter. Bye. Turn them off.
Oh,
Send them away.
I'm just going to tell you. I'm just going to tell you what column it was on that graph that was the pandemic. Oh.
Got him.
See you later, Twitter. Right. It was column 20.
Column 20, ladies and gentlemen. If you had column 20 in John's graph, you win absolutely nothing. Ding, 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 ding. Nothing.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to revolutionize.
Speaking of that, what's going on in Ukraine? Because I haven't heard anything about it. I haven't heard anything about it all weekend. Apart from the fact that things are getting dodgy and we're talking about possible collapse, but everything's gone back to 2020. We seem to have gone back in time. Have we time travelled? Do I need to get Ed onto this?
I just think you've got a bit of a distraction. I mean, look at all of the things, right? So I've got 5 things trending in front of me. Number 1 is Star Trek Voyager. Number 2 is Bitcoin SV. Number 3...
Oh, Star Trek Voyager?
Yeah.
But Star Trek Voyager's an old TV series.
Whoa!
What happened there? Oh, is it a beast? Uh-oh, we might have an alien incursion. Aliens have landed. Ben's looking for it. Is this like the face hugger? Oh, it's another.
Down.
Oh, it's another face hugger episode. Did he come down like the last one? Did he come down with a bang though? Remember the one of what? Serious.
I'm off to do a.
He's turned his camera off. Oh my God, what's going on? Oh, why? Right. Why is my full screen not giving me full screen? That's bizarre.
Bizarre?
It's how bizarre. How bizarre. When I go full screen, I don't get full screen. When you go full screen, you do get full screen. So I need to fix my full screen. Well, there's something else for me to do tomorrow. That I can fix that tomorrow. Anyway, right, moving on. What about Ukraine? We're not getting an awful lot of feedback on it just now. I don't know what's going on. So, oh, you're back.
Yeah, I don't know where it went.
Okay.
It went in my laptop. Literally came down in front like that.
Oh, it'll probably
went into my laptop.
It'll probably be frying on your graphics card right now.
Yeah, one would hope so. Until it just jumps out at me in a minute and I go, you little fucker, and I start screaming like a little bitch. Yeah.
Do you think that why is that Spencer's comment blocked when it does that?
I don't see a comment.
Well, he said kill it with fire and it said show or hide. So I just click show because that's it's in context, it's fine.
Yeah.
Right, so
look,
what I was going to ask is, do you think that things are changing in Europe and that we need to reinvent or push or repurpose a narrative to get us back under control again? Is that what's going on? I don't know.
Well, I think that, I'm not a really big believer in going down rabbit holes. You know that, right? I don't like to do it.
I love it.
But
I love it.
At the end of the day, when I've witnessed what I've witnessed this past weekend on social media,
yeah,
it almost feels orchestrated. And I don't mean to sound, like I'm going down a rabbit hole, but you basically heard nothing of Ukraine anymore. And all of a sudden, all of the big arguments from 2020 are piling on anybody again.
Yeah.
It just seems very weird, very strange. Maybe it is just a coincidence. Maybe it is. And I do believe in coincidences. I'm not one of these people who says there are no coincidences. I believe in coincidences. But, and this is a big but, it does seem like there has been a concerted effort, in my opinion, and like I say, I could be wrong, but there seems to be a concerted effort to push narratives from Ukraine to things like Partygate.
Yeah.
And, like I said this morning on Sonia's show, the narrative that's being pushed hard on everybody right now when it comes to Partygate is the emotional narrative.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean they are pushing you, the mainstream media especially, are pushing you and pulling at your heartstrings to look at this in a way of they shouldn't have broken the rules. Because you were following them. You were following them, so they shouldn't have broken them.
Yeah, okay. Some people were following the rules, some people weren't. In fact, there were quite a lot of people not following the rules because those people used to get pointed out on the news every day. Remember the couple, the couple of women that went for a walk and had a flask
Starbucks,
with them and a coffee on a park bench or whatever, that kind of thing. And when
they were following the rules.
Yeah, they were technically following the rules, yeah. And the thing is, when you think about it, these rules were ridiculous. I mean, they were ridiculous. So the question is, why have they gone back to trying to demonize Boris when he's effectively been dealt with? That's all you're going to get, people, right?
Well, he's resigned.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get anything else. He's never going to jail. I mean, we've said this from day one. None of the people that were involved in this are ever going to jail. Look, if you can take us into an illegal war that killed millions of people and never even get called out on it, never mind go to jail.
Not just never get called out on it, but still make hundreds of thousands of pounds every time you go and do a speech.
And still get knighted.
Yep.
and still, his lackey's still out there, still working, and nobody bothers him. Nobody says anything against him, apart from me. I give him it every time, says the guy who took us into an illegal war. But yeah, so it's just... What's going on? What's going on? Right? It's just like you say. There's coincidence, and then there's the big news. Well, not the big news, but the thing that's taken Twitter by storm over the last couple of days is Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
So Joe Rogan has RFK Jr. on his show, right? And let's be honest, RFK Jr.'s no stranger to controversy, right?
No, no stranger at all.
He said some pretty weird things, in my view.
Haven't we all?
He has some extreme views, in my view, right?
Yeah.
He's not the kind of guy that I would say is... I don't think he's presidential, because I think the problem is that he does have that unfortunate medical handicap, and that he sounds terrible when he's speaking, which I think is a big drawback, because even when you go back and look at Nixon and was it Nixon and Kennedy when they did their radio interviews and their TV interviews, and Nixon was way ahead in the polls on the radio because Nixon sounded brilliant. He was confident, calm. He sounded like a leader. But when you did the same poll with a TV audience, JFK won hand over fist, you know, because he looked better and Nixon looked a bit shifty. So voice is important, I think. Even in this day and age, voice is important. And if you want if you want to carry people with you, if you want to lead people, I think you've got to have that voice. Now, I think, and I'm no Joe Biden fan, right? But Joe Biden used to have it.
He did.
He used to have it,
especially with his little quips. His "come on, man."
Yeah, he used to have it, but he didn't have it when he got elected. So I think that's a bit weird. But early Joe Biden was quite. I mean, he was probably quite an impressive political figure.
He was an assertive man for sure.
Yeah, and as I say, I'm no Joe Biden fan, but yeah. So and Trump has this Trump annoys me, right, when you see him speaking, because he's transparent and you know exactly what he's doing if you look at him, because he's like trying to brainwash you. He says the same thing 3 times and he repeats it.
Yep.
And it really annoys me, because Trump does this kind of thing where he says the same thing 3 times and tries to brainwash you, and then he'll repeat the same thing again and he'll do it 3 times and try and brainwash you. It's quite annoying, isn't it? But it is, isn't it?
And the other thing he does, and I think this really does work in his advantage, by the way, is he assigns a nickname to everybody.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah,
it's like Lying Ted, Crooked Hillary, Ron the Sanctimonious.
Yes, he does. And it probably helps him remember their names as well, because he doesn't really need to remember their real name, but yeah, he does, and he does that well.
Little
He's
Marco.
very good. Yeah, putting them down.
Yeah, and that sticks in the audience head as well, and it puts. They're always negative. And that puts an air of sort of question in the mind of people watching. Well, why is he calling him Lying Ted? Why is he calling him Ron the Sanctimonious? So I think these are very clever techniques. And also, despite the fact that Trump is almost as old as Joe Biden, he can assert himself and he can hold a crowd.
Yeah, he can.
And he can work a room.
Yeah.
And I'm no Trump fan, but I can tell you, the man, even at his age, bloody oozes charisma when he's on the stage.
Yeah. To go back to RFK, right? I think one of the problems here is, and while I'm not a great RFK fan, he appeals to a certain demographic, and the thing is that demographic is cross-platform, because he brings Republicans and Democrats together, and
he's a Democrat.
That's scary for the Democratic Party, because he actually says things that some Republicans resonate with, and he'll say things that Democrats resonate with. So the problem is, he becomes a bit of a threat, because he could steal votes from Trump and beat Biden.
Yeah, unfortunately, he'll never be allowed to beat Biden.
Well, see, and I think this is part of what's going on right now. This is the demonization of RFK, so he never gets to the point where he would ever be considered as a nominee for the Democratic Party.
Going right back to what we were talking about before, talking about Joe Rogan, as to what's going on with the resurgence of 2020 rhetoric on social media.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, you're absolutely right. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a bipartisan threat. He's absolutely a bipartisan. I see more Republicans praising and talking about him than I do Democrats. And I have to remind myself, this guy is running against Joe Biden in the Democratic primaries.
Yeah.
So he's running against the incumbent president. Obviously, you're not supposed to run against your incumbent, but he is.
Yeah.
So,
and I think there's a lot of people in America have probably twigged that maybe Joe's not the best choice, because there's still a year to go before the election, and then if he gets in, there's another 4 years to go, and really, you want camel toe running the country? Really?
Well, this is it, because Joe Biden is clearly and very visibly rapidly deteriorating at this point.
Yeah. Did you see him with Eva Longoria?
No.
Oh my God. You need to see that. You need to all you need to do is go on Twitter and in Search for Eva Longoria, because she was giving him, her what would you call it? Validation or whatever for, as the sitting president, I'm backing Joe and all that, and he hugs her and his thumbs go up and his thumbs go up as he's pulling his hands back, and he's almost cupping, and she has to swiftly take them down and pull back, and yet she's still supporting him, and it's like he's so creepy. He's so creepy. He really is.
Just leans in for a hug. Just remember, Corn Pop was a bad dude. Corn Pop.
Corn Pop was a bad dude. So right, but let's go back to the Joe Rogan thing that's caused all this. So
yeah, so it was
this
a man
guy,
named
this
Peter Hotez.
Yeah, that's Professor Hotez. And I have many problems with this guy. One of them is someone needs to teach him how to smile, because the guy looks like a demented badger. No, you see his teeth every time he's like I'm a rabid badger. Something needs to teach him how to smile. It's not a good look.
Yeah.
And he wears stupid things like bow ties, has he been watching the Science Guy and things like that? So
he tried to deplatform Rogan, didn't he? That's how it began.
He did. He tried to deplatform Rogan, and Spotify have no truck with these people because Rogan is making them a fortune.
Of course he is. He's making them hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
They would be crazy to let go of Joe Rogan. They wouldn't be crazy to let go of other people, but we'll get there in a bit. But
but Joe Rogan's no saint, right?
Absolutely not.
Because a lot of people,
nobody is.
A lot of people and the whole thing is all about Rogan has asked this guy to come and debate, because this guy had a go at RFK over his beliefs, and that's all I'm going to say on that. So this guy who makes jabs for a living, right, had a go at RFK over his beliefs, and RFK is as you know, more than happy to debate people on it. So Rogan offers this guy $100K for any charity of his choice if he wants to come on and debate RFK face to face on his podcast. And this guy basically says no, and the price has gone up to, what is it now, Ben?
Last I checked, with contributions like $500,000 from Andrew Tate and loads of, it was about $1.5 million.
Right,
last
so
I checked.
$1.5 million to a charity of his choice. And the guy's basically still saying no, because he doesn't want to debate. And you're getting all the academics jumping in. That's not what we do, That's not what we do. We don't debate science. We just write scientific papers. Now, hold on a minute. The guy's a
Science
PhD.
is a debate.
But hold on. The guy's a PhD, right? You literally go through a thing when you're getting your PhD called a defense, where you sit down and get questioned. And I mean, I did this as well, although I only have a master's. I'm not a doctor, so you can trust me. But so you literally sit down and a panel of your seniors quiz you on the work that you have done, and this is only for postgraduate degrees. It doesn't happen with graduate degrees. But anyway, so you're getting quizzed, and you have to defend your piece of work, and that's how you get your master's or your PhD or whatever. So literally, you have to debate it. So what's the problem if that's your area of expertise? What's the problem in going in and then, and the mark of a good teacher and a good professor and a good scientist is someone who can disseminate the information in terms that a layman would understand. So I don't see any problem with them debating it. I don't see any problem, but this guy will not debate him.
I'll tell you why, and I'll be careful.
Yeah.
I'll be careful. But
be careful.
first of all, before I get to my reasoning, well, this kind of rolls into it, I guess. I see a lot of people telling Peter Hotez not to do it.
Yeah.
And what they're saying to him is, do not legitimize someone like RFK. But then my question would be this. If you've got the facts that make RFK look stupid, how would you be legitimizing him?
Yeah.
You'd be in fact doing the exact opposite, surely. So it just seems to me like the position is perhaps indefensible, and so they can't go, and maybe they fear that they'll radicalize people to RFK's position. I don't know. I don't know. By making him look
so
like the winner of a debate, who knows?
So Elon jumps into it, and he gets pummeled on as well for not being a virologist or whatever, or not being a subject matter expert, But hold on a minute. Hold on. So one of my tweets today was, well, who do you want as your subject matter expert? Do you want to bring in Bill Gates?
Because he was on every news station on the planet with being a subject matter expert in something he knows nothing about, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. To say that Elon Musk knows nothing about public health and then allow Bill Gates to go trampasing across Africa, Indonesia and India, where there are a number of things happening that you probably don't want to know about. In fact, actually, I'll retract that, because I don't think Bill Gates is allowed to go back to India at the moment.
Well, one thing I will say is, remember, Bill Gates appeared on British News Live a lot in 2020, acting like a doctor.
Yeah, Dr. Gates.
Dr. Gates. Dr. Gates. Wait, what?
But people
what are you telling me about public health for?
Yeah, people deferred to him. They really did.
Yeah.
As if he knew everything about. I mean,
the British mainstream media deferred to him.
It's mental. It should never have happened.
And then I get someone come at me yesterday for simply reading data and go, what qualifications do you have to interpret data? Well, I am qualified to interpret data.
All you need to
start with.
I have exactly the same qualifications as Bill Gates, except I've actually got more. I'm better qualified than Bill Gates. And you listen to him, don't you? You lefty liberal. Just bucket.
I mean, it's just I'm just completely lost for words. It's like, what? That question is going to stick with me for life, I think. What qualifications do you have to interpret data?
I can read and I can think.
Yeah, I felt like responding, are you stupid?
Probably.
Can you not?
Yeah, that is ridiculous. And it's like someone said, what's the point in having all these experts when all the scientific papers are online and you can go and read them? And someone says, scientist comes back and goes, well, that's all very well, but these papers are not written that you would be able to understand them without years of education and experience, right? Which is fine. I sit
there and read them and fully understand them.
Which is fine. I can understand that, right? But when you go to when you go to your doctor, okay, who has prescribed you a medication, and you question the doctor because the medication is contraindicated for the condition that you have, and you ask the doctor to explain why they have prescribed that medication, and the doctor then has to go, oh, well, I'll need to actually read up on that because I'm not quite up to speed on it. You go,
I'm going to get the Google out.
You maybe go, should you not have done that before you prescribed it?
Yeah, but remember, John,
I'm not qualified to read. I'm not qualified. I'm not qualified. I'm not qualified to read.
You've got to trust them.
Yeah, I know.
Just got to trust them. I mean, a lot of the experts in major fields aren't funded by big corporations, big pharma, big government, or anything like that. They're not. They certainly don't work to the agendas of those who are funding them or anything like that. Of course they don't.
Well, you're
No,
right.
they just don't.
You're right, Ben. They don't, because someone said, you're, what was it they said today? Something like that's not how science works these days. And I goes, no, it's not, because it's normally the grant funder that determines the outcome.
Well, it does seem to be.
Yeah.
No. Let me. No.
Oh,
Let me
no.
rephrase that. It doesn't seem to be. Right. That absolutely never happens. We will not. No. I'm just never happens. Never happens.
Oh God.
And speaking of Spotify,
yes. But hold on. Before what about Spotify? Yeah. Are you going to go into?
Yeah, I'm going to go into another story.
Well, can we finish the Joe Rogan bit off first?
Yeah, okay.
Because
I was just
Joe Rogan is no hero, right? He's no hero of mine, right? And he's
no hero of mine.
The thing is, if I remember correctly, you could not go on the Joe Rogan podcast without fulfilling certain criteria during a certain episode. And I don't mean an episode of his podcast. I mean, you had to have had something, you had to wear something, you weren't allowed in the building if you hadn't done that. Joe Rogan's no free speech advocate.
Well, actually, I believe that's when he upped ship and moved to Texas, because those were the rules in California, and so he left.
But he still applied them.
Because he would have been prosecuted if he didn't.
So?
Now, I do and I don't get it. He should have just said, right, I'm suspending the show for 3 weeks. I'm going to Texas. That's what he really should have done. But
he should have, yeah. Well, if that's what he was going to do, that's what he should have done. He should have done that there and then, because he made himself look like a dork.
Yeah, he did.
And that's probably not the word I wanted to use, but it's the one that came out.
But before we do move on to another story about Spotify and some grifters, happy Juneteenth, everybody. Happy Juneteenth, John.
Sod off. That's a made-up crap. What? It's made-up crap. What is this nonsense? I've never heard of this nonsense in my life. This isn't a mere Americanism that's come out of nowhere to appease a group of people that don't really need appeasing, because to be honest, they're probably as big offenders as anyone. In fact, more so. Historically, if you want to check your facts.
I'm saying nothing, but Juneteenth is, so I'll just read this. I'll read this tweet verbatim from Barack Obama.
Oh, God, that twat.
Shall I do it in a Barack voice? On Juneteenth,
has he got
to commemorate the anniversary of the delayed but welcome news of freedom.
Hold on. Could you help? Could you take Michael's cock out your mouth first?
Jesus Christ, that's demonetized. And there it is. There it is. I'm just going to read it in my voice now.
Right, go on.
On Juneteenth, which is today, the 19th of June, we commemorate the anniversary of the delayed but welcome news of freedom reaching the enslaved black folks in Galveston, Texas. It's a reminder that even in the darkest hours, there is cause to hope and a reason to keep building a country that lives up to its highest ideals. Isn't Barack Obama of the party that were mostly slave owners?
Mm-hmm. The founders of the Ku Klux Klan?
But remember, there was good official narratives. We have to follow the line. We're on YouTube. Party switched.
Switched to what?
They switched positions. They definitely switched positions at some point.
Okay.
Definitely did that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure they did. I mean,
definitely switched.
Look, nobody's saying slavery is a good thing. Nobody in their right mind is saying that, right? And that's a given, okay? But you know what? It's a historical fact that occurred. It's a historical fact that it's still occurring in certain countries.
Yep.
Not many of the Western ones, but it is still occurring, and it is still occurring in some of them by nefarious means, right? So it's not a good thing. It needs to be stamped out, but it needs to be stamped out at the source. there is no point in trying to appease people who have no direct experience of being in that position, because
Correct.
it finished, it finished round about the end of the Civil War, or it started to finish then, So it's 150 years since we last had proper. Well, when I say proper, you know what I mean.
You say we. I mean,
it's like you can't speak these days because you think, if I say this, the channel will go. It's ridiculous.
But no, at the end of the day, right? We can't be held responsible for things we didn't do.
No, we can't.
And that's all I'm going to say on the matter is, whilst I absolutely empathise with the position of people back then, and absolutely abhor the idea of slavery, should never have happened, I also recognise that it was done pretty much by every culture to every culture, and it should not have happened then. It should not have happened in the United States. It should not have happened if it did happen here. It should not have happened here.
Well,
it
that
should not have happened.
Here.
It should not still be happening in the Middle East as it is.
It should still not be happening in Africa,
which it still unfortunately is in many places. And I don't think any man, woman, child, whatever, should be enslaved by any other man, woman, child, whatever.
Although I did read about a guy who was a slave, right?
Right.
And he was quite a large guy. He was like 6'7" or something.
Right.
And they selected him basically as a stud. And he was effectively kept in a life of luxury and fathered over 200 children. I think he died.
Fair enough.
I think he died in 1958. That's not a bad life, though.
Well, like I say, fair enough, but still,
I'm not condoning the practice.
No. And I absolutely abhor and do not condone. I mean,
although
like Tony says,
I do. Sorry, Ben. I don't mean to interrupt.
I was going to say, like Tony said, slave labor is still currently used to this day to obtain raw materials to make electric vehicles.
And I made that very point the other day because someone said, all these miners that are mining fossil fuels and all that, and I'm saying at least they're not 6-year-olds mining a Congolese lithium mine. The people that are mining for oil and coal, they're proper, real people with jobs. They're not 6-year-olds been forced into a lithium mine and be lucky if they see 9, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's really sad. And
yeah, it's sad.
Unfortunately, from sitting here in my little summer house, there's not much I can do about that.
No,
but these massive organisations with funding to the tune of millions, sometimes billions, who claim to fight slavery, what are they doing about it? They could at least be raising a bit more awareness, but they're not.
No, they're not.
They're not. And that just doesn't sit very well with me. It really doesn't. But there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah,
I'm a small voice on the internet.
And you know what? My contention, and I've said it before, my contention is that slavery still exists. Because effectively we are slaves. Because if you stop doing things that the government wants you to do, then you'll get either imprisoned or punished, right? And I'm not necessarily saying breaking the law, but if you stop doing things that the government wants you to do, if you don't put in tax returns, if you don't want to pay tax, and yes, I know the laws, but the laws that are questionable, aren't they? Because why should you be taxed on your labour? Why should you be taxed on on your productivity? Why should you be taxed on things that you make? Why should you have to pay tax on that? So why should you have to give that to the government?
And what is the difference between the current taxation system that you have to pay under threat and the mob coming in and offering you a protection racket?
There's nothing really the difference other than fact that the government has legalised it and put a framework around it that makes it seem legitimate. And basically, that's all it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that is all it is. It's a protection racket by another name, and the violence that will be inflicted upon you if you don't pay is sanctioned in law.
I think I'll actually just turn monetization off for this video.
Yeah, probably a good idea. we don't make money on these live shows at the moment.
No,
anyway,
we don't.
So
We
it's
don't.
probably
Right.
just a good idea.
So, talk to me, baby. Talk to me about Ben Simmons at Spotify. What's he said?
Well, Bill Simmons,
Bill Simmons, sorry.
Spotify's head. So Spotify's head of podcast innovation and monetization. And I'm reading this verbatim from the Daily Wire. Slammed Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, after the company parted ways with the couple last week. Markle's podcast, Archetypes, which I'd never heard of, explored historical and cultural stereotypes of women and was produced by her company Archewell Audio, which Markle co-founded with her husband. Spotify and Archewell Audio have mutually agreed to part ways and are proud of the series we made together, the two entities said in a statement. Simmons said on an episode of his show, the Bill Simmons podcast, that the two were fucking grifters. I wish I had been involved. It gets better. It says, I wish I had been involved in the Meghan and Harry leave Spotify negotiation, he said. The fucking grifters. That's the podcast we should have launched with them. I got to get drunk one night and tell the story of the Zoom I had with Harry to try and help him with a podcast idea. It's one of my best stories. Shoot this guy to the sun. I'm so tired of this guy, Simmons said of Harry. What does he bring to the table? He just whines about shit and keeps giving interviews. Who cares about your life? You weren't even the favourite son.
Well, of course he wasn't. He was a bastard child, wasn't he? That's tremendous. I love it.
The New York Post noted that Simmons has ripped on Harry numerous times in the past, including while he was still at the same company. I think he still is, saying in January 2023 that he was so tired of this guy and that it was so embarrassing that he's on our platform. I can't stand him, Simmons said. So tired, I'm so embarrassed that I fucking have to share Spotify with him. This guy sucks.
Let's be honest. Right? Harry's not the sharpest tool in the box.
Not at all. Not at all. And speaking of Harry and Meghan, right? So they've got this show on Netflix. I think it's 6 or 8 episodes.
Oh God, yeah.
And from what I understand, having read for a few things today, Netflix are not keen on picking it up for a second season.
Okay.
Which means that would effectively bring the Netflix Harry and Meghan deal to a close.
Yeah. Right.
So let's say, I don't know how many episodes it was, 6 or 8, but let's say they did maybe 20 hours of recording. Yeah. They got paid $81 million for it.
That's ridiculous.
They got paid $81 million.
I'd like to know
Netflix.
how much that show made, because I don't think it made anywhere near that.
I think it must have been, when you think about the grand scheme of things, because that's their Netflix deal total, is $81 million. So if they were brought in to do a second season, they would do it for free, essentially, right? But
so basically they've paid them off to sod off.
Looks like it, and it looks like the same thing's happened with Spotify, and you'll see the same thing with Netflix, because let's face it, there's only a certain amount of times you can go, man, the royal family are racist, before people get bored of it.
Yeah.
And people are bored of it. The book's out now. Well, is he going to release another book called Part, and we're going to have
it'd be different if he had. See, if he had a personality, it would be different.
But John, don't you understand that I do have a personality? I don't speak with a monotone voice and do everything my wife says.
Yeah. Yeah. It's quite sad, isn't it? So anyway.
Well, is it sad? Because between Netflix and Spotify, these two have got $100 million. Bucks.
I don't mean it's sad. I don't mean it's sad for them. What I mean is it's quite sad that everybody's been taken in by them and actually giving them money.
I mean, look, we're sitting here having an honest conversation,
sake,
and I would say,
if we were on Netflix, how much money would we be bringing in? People
we'd
would
probably
love
be
us.
People would love us. People would love us.
Or
They'd be going,
else.
what the hell are they going to do next?
Well, yeah. I mean, you imagine. See, that's it's just a problem of reach. I firmly
It is.
believe that all we need a big break. We need one video to go viral or something like that, and not
break.
Tragedy at Dallas Air Show.
No. So we need a big break. So what? We need Jim Davidson.
Oh, Jesus.
Remember the show? Come on. You'll get there.
I got there and I disregarded it because you're making dad jokes now. So that's not the kind
am a
of
dad.
Yeah, but that's a bad way to go. No, but we just need a break. That's all we need. And I'm not whining about it. This isn't the last of the summer whine.
I think that wine has gone to his head.
Do you like that? The last of
Yeah.
the summer whine.
It's gone straight to his head. But remember,
It's very good though. It's very good.
we've been called grifters. I mean, I've been called a grifter this weekend.
I'd love to
mean-
be a grifter because if we were a grifter, we'd be making some bloody money.
Money? What's that?
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of money,
We just need cash. I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash.
So if you would like to support us, you can do so at patreon.com/chasing descent or indeed Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/chasing descent. We would really appreciate it, but if you can't afford it, we understand because
Yep.
right now the Tory government has done everything they can to absolutely screw you in this manufactured cost of living crisis.
yeah.
I mean, what?
Um,
We're definitely not putting the money on this show.
I'm
I
going to
mean,
briefly dip into Glasgow, right? Not
Right.
not in a sexual way, but do you remember
Do
we
you want to
spoke?
put me big screen while you go there?
No, do you remember the Glasgow Les, the low emission zone?
Oh yeah.
Right. So Glasgow's low emission zone. There's a bit of a problem.
Mm.
So since the low emission zone has been implemented, the air quality in Glasgow has gone down. Emissions have gone up.
Well, that's because people are just going sod it and paying it. They're driving anyway.
No, they're not. They're not. I don't understand what's happening. What's going on?
Well, I don't know. But speaking of leses or you leses, as we will.
Well,
Have you
that's
seen the
only
video
because that's an
going-
ultra low.
Yeah, have you seen the video that's been going around today? Which I cannot
Oh.
condone.
The guy's
Which I cannot
collection.
condone.
My goodness,
The-
I wondered,
there-
what is that a collection of? I thought.
So a man has put a video on social media, I believe today.
I hope he's behind a VPN and didn't use any of his real details to make his Twitter account.
He did not use his face as well. I know that.
Yeah, but
But
he better make
he's got
sure
himself
that
a collection
he has an impressive collection.
that he collected in the space of one afternoon of ultra low emission zone cameras. And then he made a slight tutorial on how to get your own collection of ultra low emission zone cameras.
What do you need?
Um,
A wrench and a pair
I'm
of
not
wire
telling
cutters?
you.
All
I'm
right,
not
okay.
telling you. You can go and find it for yourself. I am not condoning it. I will say it's an impressive collection.
It's
Looks like an
ve-
expensive
oh,
collection.
I've seen the tweet. That is a very impressive
Mhm.
collection.
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen though? I mean, it already started. It's already
Hmm.
started because they've started putting up like trail cams,
Yeah,
watching.
they put up cameras to look at the cameras.
They're putting up cameras to watch the cameras.
And then they'll go for the cameras that watch the cameras. So they'll put up cameras
Well,
to watch the cameras that watch the cameras.
If you're smart, you'll go for the camera. You'll go for the camera that's watching the camera first, and then obviously you're gonna have to widen it out because it's going to be. It's just going to be another. It's
Stop
just going to
giving
be
them a tutorial.
Yeah, I would actually just go and buy a paintball gun.
I mean, if we were to ever think about engaging, which we wouldn't, in things like that,
No,
which we wouldn't,
no, never,
never. Then I
Perish
think
the
that's probably the way to go, isn't it?
Yeah, right. Anyways, and speaking about lasers, what about Loza?
Oh my God.
What's he
What
been
a-
doing?
Well, he's been making some, in my opinion, inebriated videos this Father's Day, hasn't he?
Well, I can't condone it, but I can't really condemn it either.
He's burning his own property upon
Yeah,
his own property.
But we make inebriated videos. Something. Well, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, you do quite often.
Yeah.
You're doing it right now.
I'm just surprised he didn't burn his fence down the way he was going.
I'm surprised he didn't burn his fence down, and I'm surprised he didn't burn part way into his neighbour's house or that big bush that was there as well. But Lawrence
That's
Fox
a
put up
terrible thing to
something.
say about his neighbour. She not been escaping.
You know, I was going to make a Billy Piper joke there, but I'm not going to.
Oh,
I'm just not going to.
How could Billy Piper? How could she? How could she?
She now gets to say, I've been with Hunter Biden.
Has she?
No, but he played Hunter in that movie,
Oh
didn't he?
my God! Yeah, but yeah.
Oh dear. But no, he put up some bunting and he burnt that bunting, and what is on that bunting you can go and look on Lawrence Fox's Twitter account for yourself. I'm not gonna say it, but I will say this: it's his own property in his own garden. He's got every right to destroy it in any way he sees fit, except for people like bloody Richard Bacon, you know, that idiot BBC presenter.
Oh, those
is now
people
gonna
that put
report,
and the people
reporting
that
him
put
for a hate crime.
the people that put loads of letters after their names, loads and
Yeah,
loads of letters.
They're saying that we should report. Well, I think they have reported him for a hate crime. It's his property.
It's ridiculous. And let's be honest, right? If you want to go and burn a Union Jack in this country or a Union flag,
Should be legal.
It actually is legal to burn it. There's no law against burning a flag in this country. So you can
And
burn.
yet you'll probably see him arrested.
You can burn your own property, right?
Can you though?
Well, you should be able to, but if it's a certain book, you might get into trouble. But you still should be able to burn your own property.
You should be able to burn your own property. And what they'll say is, it's not the burning of. This is what they'll do. Okay,
Yeah,
if they
I
do
know.
come for him, they're not going to say it was the burning of the property that was the problem. They're going to say that he disseminated it on social media, and therefore it constitutes a gross offence.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to say. And I don't believe. I believe it is the most draconian restriction on speech to say that you cannot cause offence, because offence is subjective. Offence is taken. It's not given. And if somebody takes offence, then calls the police and says it's a hate crime, then under the section whatever of the Communications Act, it is from the perspective of the perceived victim. It's not from the perspective of the person that's making the communication. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you've got to say that you were affected by it. So the BBC
and that's
guy
all you've got
can't
to
say
say.
that, can he?
Well, but maybe.
I mean, the whole. Yeah, you know what? It's not enough. It shouldn't be an offence to be offended.
No, it shouldn't be an offence to be offensive. It shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
Okay, good. Well, aren't we Britain? Aren't we the home of? I was going to say the home of Roy Chubby Brown, but he gets banned from theatres now, doesn't he? Jesus.
Well, I mean, look at what we used to do: Monty Python, Benny Hill, Porridge, all of it. You know, Bernard Manning. You know,
But what do
Alf Garnett?
what do governments and people think that creating this kind of legislation and restricting people more and more is going to do? At some point, there's going to be a powder kick. At some point, there's going to be a pushback,
Well,
and it's going to be worse than poll tax.
This is what happens because this is how societies fail. Because eventually you get more and more restrictions, you get more and more rules, and what happens when you get more and more restrictions and more rules, you become less and less free. So the more permissions you have to ask to be able to do something, right, the less free you are. And then ultimately people just combust. They just lose it and combust.
I want to address the point that Tony Garrett has made in the chat, because he says offences taken not given Alex Belfield. Well, Alex Belfield didn't get convicted of any offence, causing any offence. He got convicted of stalking.
Yeah.
So that's how they got him. But the thing is, there are so many people on Twitter who have done far more sustained and far worse campaigns against me.
Yeah, well, against
Alex Belfield
anyone.
did against anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, people on Twitter go OTT, and they don't get pulled up. But Alex Belfield's a name, and he's got a platform. That's the difference. He's got a platform,
and he exploded out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So he went from I think it was within his first sort of year that he was up over 300,000. That he was seriously doing YouTube. He exploded out of nowhere, and you know what? It terrified them. Yeah. It absolutely terrified them, because people were listening to him, and he was saying things. And that's why he started his website. Yeah. But that's why he started his website, because he was saying things that he knew he couldn't say on YouTube, because they were counter to official narratives, shall we say. And people were listening. Mm-hmm. And we can't have people listening. Do you know what? I last check, Mariana hadn't blocked me, actually, Andrew, despite the fact she's unfollowed me, because she followed me a few weeks ago.
Oh, she unfollowed you. Right.
She's unfollowed me.
Right.
But last I checked, she hadn't blocked me. I did check earlier. I'll check again quickly.
You follow her?
Mariana
Spring. Ba-ding. I'm blocked.
No, I'm not. And I put out a video about her calling out her lies.
I'm blocked.
I'm not.
Oh, that's a cracker. I'm blocked. I haven't even. I have engaged, I suppose, but I'm blocked. Yeah, there you go. How can she possibly pretend to be like an arbiter of truth when all she does is block people?
I don't know, but she hasn't blocked me. But since I put out that video, she has put out a tweet with a load of screenshots of people insulting her, saying, "So brilliant to see what a hit Radio 4's..." This was 4 hours ago. Mariana in Conspiracy Land is investigating how extreme and hateful the conspiracy movement is, and a paper have become. The price, I'm a target for that hate and threats, including incidents spilling online. And then she's got a link to a tiny URL.com.
She's been touching up her photos because she's fatter than that in real life.
Well, I doubt she's touching up anything. She's got a team to do that now.
Yeah.
But
I'm blocked.
But at the end of the world, at the end of the day, I've not insulted her. All I've done is invite her for a conversation, and pointed out with screenshots in the little video I've made where she's lied.
Well, I didn't insult her either. All I asked was for her to point at the column where the thing occurred. Yeah, that's all I asked. Yeah, and she blocked me.
She hasn't blocked me, like I say, and that worries me a bit, because I've actually put my face to a video calling her out. That worries me, and I tagged her in it.
Yeah, she's a Fruit Loop. Yeah. Anyway, right, let's move on. Robbie Williams.
Hold on a minute, John. I'm fucked. I can't go on for a minute.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Have you got long COVID? Are you all right?
Well, Robbie's saying he's got long coof.
Yeah, he's got long coof.
He gave up halfway through a show and had to take a break. Didn't he?
Go, oh, I'm fucked. I need to take a break. Yeah.
Do you know what I do?
He actually said, "Now you fuckers, I've got long coof."
So if I know, right, that I'm not feeling too well before a show, I very rarely cancel on account of illness. Do I, John?
Very rarely. You just take
what
more
I do
drugs.
I was going to say half an hour before a show, I go into my prescription cupboard and I start taking out
Take some more drugs.
little
We're definitely
circles of happiness.
We are definitely demonetizing this one.
Legal drugs, by the way.
Yeah,
Right,
legal.
that I am
Prescription. Yeah.
I take out the little circles of happiness and I put them in my mouth and I
Okay.
go and
Right, stop talking now. Right, so let's
what could be? Well, it could be worse. I could be lost in a submarine looking for the wreckage of the Titanic.
at 12,500 feet. This is no laughing matter.
It's actually happened, isn't it?
Yeah, 12. I mean, right. So it's like 250 grand. You have to pay to go on this trip. Right?
Yes.
250 grand, and you go on a trip to look at the actual wreckage of the Titanic. And this company has one submarine that can go down to 14,000 feet. Now, the Titanic's at 12,500, so it's within its operating capabilities. It goes down with a 5-man crew.
Yeah, so I think it's 5 people on board.
5, yeah. It's 1 pilot. Or is it 6? No, 5. 1 pilot, 3 paying guests, and 1 content expert. He's obviously the guy that's telling you about the Titanic. It's not, it's not James Cameron. Right. So you go down on this thing and it takes you about 8 hours or something to get down and back up. And you go down to 12,500 feet and you look at the Titanic's wreckage. This one's disappeared, right? So they haven't had any contact for some time. They're not telling us how long. And other organizations like the Navy and other deep sea, rescue companies are helping them.
Cold War sonar plane and a second sub deployed in race against time hunt for vessel that has 60 hours of air left and has been missing for more than 24 hours.
Right, so it went down with 96 hours of air.
Yep.
Right, so that's where we are. So it's got 60 hours. That's for what? 5 days? No, sorry, 5 days. 3 days. 3 days. Less than 3 days. 72 hours is 3 days. 60
so
hours
got less than 3
is like
days of air left.
2.5 days left.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yep. So they believe that it's stuck in the wreckage of the Titanic. That's what they believe.
Why would it go in?
Well, who knows? Who knows? Maybe the billionaire.
Something could have fallen
on board.
Something could have fallen and pinned it down, couldn't it?
Maybe, but like I say, there is a billionaire on board, so maybe he's gone, I'll give you some extra money if you take us in, and it's all gone wrong.
Oh my God. I sound like Joe Rogan.
I'm not saying that is what's happened, but I'm saying, with a billionaire on board who wants to go down.
No, but I'm just saying I sound like Joe Rogan. I think we should be getting paid what he's getting paid.
$100 million.
Yeah, why not? I think that's fair.
Not? Yeah.
I think we're as good. I mean, really, we are as. In fact, we're probably better than Joe Rogan because he doesn't really ask any hard questions. He just sits there and goes, oh, "Really? Wow."
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. Paying $250,000 to go look at a sunken boat doesn't seem like my idea of fun.
No. I'd rather spend it going up than down.
Absolutely.
If you know what I mean.
So it's I don't know what's happened, but I'm just posing suggestions. That the billionaire on board may well have said, I want to go closer.
Yeah, you're idly speculating, and really that's not what we do, Ben. That's not what we do. So anyway, right. So yeah, but
in about 2 weeks' time, you're going to find out my idle speculation was probably true.
Yeah, we'll find out. Well, we might find out sooner than that because obviously they've only got 2.5 days worth of air left. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and obviously we hope that they come out of all of it okay.
Yeah.
And speaking of another vehicle that's broken down, what's happened to Keith? What's been happening with Keith today?
Keith was going to a conference in Edinburgh in Leith. You know where You ever seen any of the Irving Welsh movies? You know, like Train Spotting and all that crap.
Oh yeah, of course.
So Irving Welsh comes from like Leith. It's a shithole.
Yeah.
Right. And
But
they're trying to
anyway.
they're trying to reinvent it. But anyway, so there's a conference centre in Leith. And Keith was going to it and he'd hired a hydrogen bus because he's going to be green. So the hydrogen bus broke down.
It did. It broke down. So what did they get picked up in, John?
Well, they got picked up in a diesel bus. And then the diesel bus got lost.
Got lost?
And Leith. Leith. I mean, Edinburgh's not big anyway, but Leith, for fuck's sake, how can you get lost in Leith? I mean, there aren't that many conference centres. There's not even that many roads.
If I'm a Scottish bus driver, now I'm putting myself in that side of my family's shoes for a minute.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm putting myself in the Scottish mindset. I've been told to go and rescue Keir Starmer from a hydrogen bus that's broken down. I'm going, I'm gonna get this gobshite late. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take him on a little tour.
Well,
that's
see,
what I'm
right.
gonna do.
So actually, that's maybe not quite accurate. Unless he's an SNP bus driver, because
probably.
Oh yeah, but there was a 50% chance that he was either going to be a Labour supporter or an SNP supporter, because there are no Tories in Scotland.
No, barely any. Anyway,
Yeah.
there are some,
Well, there might be some, yeah, but you know.
but the chances you got one as a bus driver were slim to none, pretty much.
Well.
But yeah, no. If I'm putting myself in that mindset, I'm going, what a ball bag, and I'm just laughing the entire way.
Was Angela with them?
I don't know. I don't know. But so they were going to launch their green agenda.
Keith's just such a knob. He's just what's the problem with him, right? Because he doesn't speak right. He doesn't speak like a toff. Is he a toff?
Listen there, John.
No,
when I make announcements about wind farms, I don't know, to be honest. Well, isn't he Sir Keith Starmer?
Yeah, no, but is he a toff? Because he doesn't talk like a toff.
Do you think he's doing the Boris thing? Like when he's in the private meetings, he's like, Angela, shine my shoes, darling, would you? And then he comes out and he goes, we're gonna ban the ban on onshore wind farming, and we're gonna become the political arm of Just Stop Oil. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna become the political arm of Just Stop Oil, and because that Roland the Rat guy is in charge of the other party, you're gonna vote us in. Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew concurs Leith as rough. Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know what's going on with the Labour Party. It's like, it's not the party of the common man anymore. In fact, Tony Blair kind of destroyed the Labour Party, didn't he?
Yeah, New Labour. Labour was just red Tories.
Yeah, he just destroyed the Labour Party because it's not the Labour Party anymore. It's just, it's the same cheek. Or it's it's a different cheek of the same horse.
Yeah, they're just red Tories.
Yeah.
And that has been true since the beginning. So, boys and girls, before we get out of here tonight, I am one like short of giving you a story. One like.
Good grief, come on, people. There must be
One
someone
like.
there can do it. Just get over the hump. Get over the hump.
So, if I don't get that like, I'll save the story for the pre-recorded show on Wednesday. But we'll give them 30 seconds or so. See if anyone hits that like button that hasn't already.
Right. We've got some other things still to cover. Do you want to cover them?
I think we should start bringing it down now because we're an hour and 35 minutes in.
Do you want to go?
Well, I don't mind. I just thought we normally kept these to about an hour and a half.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, we've still got a couple of things. I mean, they won't take long, so.
All right, you go for them. We'll give them a little bit more of a chance for someone to hit that like button.
So, recent polls in America are now showing that Trump has a 6% lead over Biden.
Yeah, That's because most people in America look at anything Joe Biden does and go, "That's elder abuse. That man needs to be in a home."
Yeah, but you say that, but I don't think they do. I think they're like SNP voters. No matter who is at the head of the Democratic Party, they will support them regardless.
Yeah, I mean, there are some people in like Nancy Pelosi's district. I think the rhetoric goes, you could put a D on a glass of water and people would vote for it.
Yeah, yeah. Did you see what's his name? Is it Fetzer? The
Fetterman?
Fetterman. Fetzer. Fetterman and Biden. Bloody hell.
No.
Oh my God, they were
That
talking.
must have been a conversation.
Holy Toledo, Batman. It was like, what the hell is this guy talking about? One, he turns up in baseball shorts and a hoodie again, right? And it's like, what the hell is this guy talking about? I mean, and I don't use this derogatory or mockingly, but the guy's brain damaged. The guy's actually brain damaged. Yeah, yeah, but Fetterman's had a stroke and he's genuinely got to be brain damaged. And, you know, it's not fair. It's not fair to put this kind of pressure on the guy because regardless of whether he wants to or not, it's not in his best interest to be trying to be a governor. This isn't right, people. This isn't working out for anyone. It's not working out for him. It's not working out for the people he's governing. It's just not working out. Just cut the guy some slack. You know?
I mean,
and let him go and reply. You know, call an election or whatever, and let him just put him out to pasture because you don't want to see that happening to people. You really don't.
you're talking about politics. You knew this for several years.
Go on.
Mayor of Knox County is from WWE.
Well, I don't know it. You're right, but I really don't know anything about WWE.
So, in the WWE, you were a market.
You're talking to a WWE virgin here. I have no interest in wrestling.
So,
none whatsoever.
Apparently, my audio's gone.
No? Talk to me? No?
Hello? Hello?
No, your audio's coming through.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
You don't look glitchy.
Glitchy. Apparently, sound fragmented.
You sound fine to me. You look fine on the. I mean, the meters are showing you coming through. He sounds like shit.
Everyone's saying shit. Turn my audio off and it back on.
Oh, all I can do is mute it. How?
I mean, it's fine in my case.
You sound fine to me.
Coming through a tool.
Huh?
Not on this end, it's not coming through. I'm so confused.
No, I'm confused as well because do I sound any different?
You look pretty good on my screen, which shows me that your upload speed probably 30 more to record OBS. Because you looked pretty fuzzy throughout the whole.
No,
you look clear.
That's not likely, but talk to me and I'll see what you look like on the road.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, you're coming through. You're coming through fine. It looks fine. That's weird.
Back in to make a different.
John's okay. It says.
I'm not on the 5G. Well, I don't think the problem is anywhere on my end or through Ring Central because we can hear it just fine.
Yeah, and the problem would be it can't be the upload because if I'm okay, it can't. If the upload's coming through LBS.
Already it's sorted now.
Oh. Was there something wrong with? Did you pull your jack half out? Oh,
so,
you must have. Look, they're all saying it's fine. Well, thank you,
Right then,
troll
before
room.
we go-
You know, it's worth having a troll room because they picked that up quite quickly, I think. And
then
we've
before we
fixed
go-
it. Well done.
Yeah, we did. So yeah,
Good job,
well done, thank you,
guys. Excellent.
before we go, I went out on Friday night, and we've got the likes.
Oh, well, hold
So
on,
I'll
hold
tell-
on. Let's finish the show first before you start your story. Right. So there's just one thing left. YouGov poll. Right, this is a YouGov poll, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is Nadeem Zahawi's corporation, isn't
Right.
it?
It used
So,
to be.
Yeah. So YouGov poll shows that people still like Boris more than Sunut.
And not even a little bit.
47% Boris, 34% Roland. What do you think of that?
Yeah. Well, I think that makes perfect sense because let's face it,
I've always said.
nobody likes Rishi.
I've always said people love Boris. I mean, I
Yep,
don't know
they do.
why. I
And-
don't know why, but people love Boris.
Why do you think the Daily Mail snapped him up?
Yeah, of course,
Why
because
do you think
people
they snapped
people
him up?
love him. People love him. We've
People love him.
We've got him here as a guest presenter as well. Haven't we?
Occasionally, yeah.
So,
Occasionally,
yeah, we love him as well.
we're not
'Cause
paying him.
you love him.
He just turns up.
He just turns up and we give him the airtime because, you know, it's Boris. Nippy is more. Andrew says Nippy is more popular than Sunut.
He probably is.
Yeah.
He probably is.
You might have a point. Right, Ben. Ben, tell me a story. Tell me a story.
I've got to tell you a story.
Tell me a story.
I've got to tell you this story. I've got to tell you this story quite carefully, but I will tell you this story because it's about John's favourite subject. It's dwarfs or a dwarf. And so we went out Friday night, as you'll know, because John presented the show on his own. Me and the wife went out Friday night. And there was a man who was a dwarf, probably in his 40s. Built like a brick shithouse, said he was a builder, right? And was here for work.
Hod carrier.
But, yeah, probably. But he was very drunk and he was getting very, very, very touchy-feely with my wife.
Joe
And
Biden-ish.
my wife's friends. Very Joe Biden-ish.
Yeah. Did he sniff her hair?
He didn't get a chance to. He just didn't get a chance to.
You're full screen, by the way.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I definitely had no words with him. And I definitely had no words with him that involved him exiting through a window.
Okay.
Those words were not spoken at all in the slightest.
And did he back down?
And he got kicked out.
Oh, by the bouncers.
He got kicked out.
Was there a dwarf bouncer?
Well, the guy's not exactly big. I will say that.
Did they have to call the dwarf, please?
But he tried,
Was it like the all? Was it like the all in? The end of all in with the dwarf bar fight? It's a dwarf bar fight. That's just like, oh my god, this was my accumulation of my life.
You're just sad you weren't there, aren't you, John?
Yeah, that would be so funny. Dwarf bar fight in real life.
You're just sad you weren't there. He did try and get back in the pub.
Spencer says he would have sniffed her hair, but he couldn't reach.
Spencer.
What hair, Spencer? What hair, though?
Right, you can take me off big screen now. I've told my story. I've made you happy, all right?
He's just the right height. He's just the right height, Spencer. He gets in there for a sniff.
Fuck off!
Bill and Alsatian up on rain pipe.
Do not monetize this.
I'm going to turn it off. As soon as we finish, I'm going to turn the monetization off. In fact, I might even pull it.
It might be a pullable episode. I don't know.
It's been good, though. It's been good. It's been great. For you.
Enough. I'm done.
What did Spencer miss?
He was going to come out on Friday. but
Oh
he got
my
Lyme
God!
disease.
You should have, mate. You should have.
He got Lyme disease.
Oh, you got what?
Lyme disease.
What the hell did you get? Lyme disease? Did you get bit by a rat?
It was a tick.
Oh my God! How did a tick in Eastbourne? Where the hell were you?
well,
You've been grubbing about
we get
the.
loads of ticks.
Oh my God! Have you been out of that dogging site again, Spencer? I told you about that. Jesus Christ, mate! Just stop that.
Enough. 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 And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I hope you haven't showed this episode to your children of any age.
These are not family friendly.
If you've enjoyed yourself, then please do leave us a like on the way out. It's all jokes at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You got to remember that, right?
Well,
It's all humour.
Don't take it down. Just fucking embrace it. Embrace it. We love you all.
Embrace the madness. Embrace the madness. God knows I do.
It's been great for you.
Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah.